Hello, everybody. I am a practicing therapist and I work with a lot of individuals with attachment wounds. Today, I wanted to go over a topic that has been requested a couple times, and it was just on the back of my to-do list. I didn't realize I missed it, but these are the triggers that basically make an avoidant leave, because a lot of avoidants, when they're triggered, not healthy, they leave. So what are the triggers and how can we manage them? So the very first one that I notice that introduces the idea that an avoidant thinks, okay, you know what? I'm going to leave. This is too much. And that is the constant need to rehash or fix issues right away. So if you're the partner and you have this desire to always fix things, make sure things are talked about right away, that can be a good trait. But a lot of times, especially if you're anxiously attached, the reason why you may be doing that is because you're afraid that if it's not fixed right away, there are holes in the relationship that will one day come crashing down and the relationship will fail, or you won't get your needs met, or things will not get better right away. And so you constantly want to bring it up to remind your partner almost about these issues and hope that one day they will change without recognizing what's actually happening is you're pushing them away. Avoidant individuals, they don't like repetition. They usually like if you say it the first time, they're probably not going to forget. And so let them process it their own way. So instead, what you can do is mention it once, say it in a more harmonious way. You don't have to, yell it at them or force it down, whatever you have to do. Try and say it in a more gentle way. It doesn't mean don't be direct. You shouldn't be indirect. You should be direct. But that doesn't mean you have to say it in a harsh way, right? This is something that I would really appreciate. If that's something that we could do, I would like it. Maybe we can talk about it at this time, whatever it may be. And whatever their answer is, accept that, but still expect that maybe things will change. Because a lot of times people change. People change more than I think anyone recognizes. If you're in this field, you guys know. You know how much people say things and it's just not true. I don't want to get married. Then 2 years later, they're married and happy. I see it all the time, right? And so try to understand that people's words don't necessarily mean everything. And so if your partner is not ready to change about something, give them time. It may happen someday. Introduce harmony. Do things that make both of you guys connect. Feel safe together. Open up in a more connective way, in a happy way. Talk about memories about your childhood in a happy way. I see this a lot where it's talking about small things creates harmony. Like my grandmother used to make me ice cream. And then you might ask your partner, what did your grandmother do? Or how's your relationship with your grandmother? Just small things that introduce harmony with a little bit of open of vulnerability instead of needing to rehash issues, because what ends up happening is you're showing your partner a little bit of the ability to be vulnerable, and they're going to start recognizing some of their own needs, which will in fact match with some of the needs that you brought up. So it helps, the vulnerability helps to connect with your needs. So that's something that you can do if you always feel the need to rehash issues. Help them open up to their own vulnerability while introducing harmony. The next one, I feel like this is probably a lot of people know this, so I kind of feel bad for saying it, but I'm going to, and that is leaning into the relationship without adding any space components, or in other words, having your partner, be your world, right? Your partner is all that you have. You don't have many friends. Maybe you have only a part-time job or not a job, which is fine. I don't judge. I don't care at all. If you can make it work, you do what you got to do. But there's no hobbies, there's no friends, maybe you don't talk to your family. And so what ends up happening is your partner is the center of your world. And that's a lot of pressure on your partner. So then what ends up happening is they feel so guilty that if they make a mistake, your whole world can crash down because it's up to them. It's on their shoulders. You can imagine how frustrating that could be. And that can cause them to leave just that. And I know that sounds mean and awful, but it's true. I'm just telling you the truth. And so what you can do as a partner is nurture your own independence. This will help your avoidant partner to feel like if they make a mistake, it's not the end of the world. They don't have to leave, right? Continue to get into hobbies if you want to pick up more hours, or you want to, try a new job, or whatever it is for your independence. Maybe something you've always wanted to do. Give it a shot. Add it into your relationship. Your partner will appreciate that, and it's also healing for you if you're anxious specifically, but anybody, right? I guess the next one would be, I would say, like a sudden flush of feelings of love. Like expressing your feelings without giving your partner space to process it. So this is something that a lot of people have a misconception of. Avoidant individuals do have feelings and they have a normal processing time, but the avoidant themselves from a conscious level, not a subconscious level. Subconsciously, you guys might be feeling the same timeline, but consciously, the avoidant individual has not processed their feeling of love. So sometimes what happens is if a partner preemptively states their feelings a little bit too overwhelming, the avoidant individual is not there yet and they don't know what to do. So now they're managing their feelings and now they have to manage your feelings. And so that becomes extremely overwhelming for them. And so what ends up happening is in their mind, the most logical and rational way is, okay, I can't do this. My feelings are too much, but I felt like I could manage it if it was just me. But now I have to manage this other person's feelings as well. They love me. That's great, but that's a lot of expectations on me. I don't even know what I'm feeling. Maybe it's best that I just leave. And it's not fun. It sounds pretty unfortunate, but it's true, right? I'm just walking you through exactly why this happens. And so it's really important that if you're feeling an emotion, you can still say it, but perhaps say it in a less emotional way and a little bit more logically. So instead of saying, I love you, you're the most important person to me, I've never loved anybody like this. Maybe you could say, I think that we're in each other's lives for a reason. I think I'm learning a lot from you, and I really appreciate how you add to my life. What do you think? That is a lot easier for an avoidant to be like, oh, you do add to my life. I think we are in each other's lives for a reason. We probably learn a lot from one another. It's actually the same thing, but just one is more emotional and one more logical. Maybe not the same thing, but it's similar. The next one and the last one is if you play games or try to manipulate your partner, what's going to happen is your partner is going to, at one point, if an avoidant partner will pick that up and they will start recognizing that they can't be genuine with you, and you're going to be possibly dishonest, right? Because they sometimes observe behaviors like this as a form of dishonesty, and it can be, right? So let's say you want your partner to text you back and you notice that they take a long time. So what you're going to suddenly do is you're not going to text them as quickly as you normally do. You're going to pretend you're unavailable. And that's a game, right? You want to get their attention. Maybe you're going to pout in the corner and not say what you're mad about. That can be pretty frustrating to an avoidant individual. So instead, what you could do is you could mention, I did not like that you did not answer my texts. I don't know what was going on, but you never answered that one. You left me unread for hours and I was worried. And you don't do that. And when I asked you about it, you didn't respond. So that just made me more frustrated. That's direct. You can still be upset, but playing games, you're not going to get your answer because now the avoidant has no idea what's happening, okay? So those are some of the 4 triggers that makes an avoidant leave. There are plenty, and I will make more, but I did want to make this one quick for you. Some of you guys were requesting quicker videos, so I got you. Well, one thing that's important, if you're an avoidant individual, be aware that leaving is in fact a trigger, which likely means that you probably don't genuinely want to leave. And so you may just regret that. And so try and think about that as if you're watching this video. Of course, it's nice that your partner wants to manage your triggers. That's, it's a lovely trait. And if your partner is one of those people, you're quite lucky because not everybody gets a partner like that. However, regardless of if they're managing your triggers or not, you have to also try to remember it's probably not the best move that every time you get a trigger, you try and leave. Like, that's not fair to anybody. And I know a lot of avoidant individuals will likely say, that's why I don't want to be in a relationship. That's why. And I get that. That's valid. I understand. But now that you're in one or you're in some sort of relationship, maybe it's a good opportunity to take this and heal. Even if it doesn't work out, this might be an opportunity for you to understand where these things are coming from because it actually comes from a place of hurt, okay? Please subscribe, like, and I'll see you in the next one.